What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back for a brand new episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last time on, we saw the events of 1983 Wanakagashi Festival, in which Sadako's aunt's dead body was found, and Satoshi was obviously suspected at the time. Later on, we saw that Shion got punished by the Sonozaki clan for daring to love a Hojo boy. And we had a very disturbing basement scene. And someone pointed this out in the comments of like, the basement scene really showcases how alone Shion is, even in her own family. Mion cares for Shion, yes, but she doesn't show it. She has to do it behind the scenes. She has to, not do it in front of Oryu or the rest of the family. Even when Shion was calling out for her own mother, she didn't even say anything, which really illustrates why Shion really attached herself to Satoshi. Because besides Mion, I don't think nobody has really gotten close to her or given her actual affection other than Satoshi with his head pats, right? That's why she's so clung onto him and why she doesn't want to lose him. And that's why she pins the blame on Sadako for basically taking away her only support in life, her only person she really cares about, someone that she cares about and who cares for her, And it's just, God, it's so sad. It's so goddamn sad. But yeah, let's get right into it. We're going to the police station with Oshi. If it had taken me back to a nice cafe, it would have scored some points, but whatever.
書の方が都合がいいと思ったから書にしただけです。私の話が退屈になったら帰っていいという約束はもちろん守りますから安心してください。
私を退屈させないように頑張ってくださいな。署内には腕組んで入ってあげましょうか、おじさま。
Oshi chuckled and got out of the car. He escorted me inside the station. I thought he'd take me to an interrogation room, but instead he took me to an office of the investigation division. Officers in both suits and uniforms were working at their desks, answering phones. There was a desk with a plate that said section manager. Nearby there were, quote, couches and a table. Oshi told me to sit on the couch and started making some instant coffee. I'd never been to this part of the police station. I worked around curiosity.
まさか取調室でカツ丼でも食わされると思いました？
Oshi brought over a tray with coffee cups on it.
想像してたより待遇が良くて驚いてます。おしらすに直で正座くらいは覚悟してたのに。
そういうのは私の趣味じゃないな。
で、おしゃべりを聞かせてくれるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
Also, someone else in the comments pointed out last episode of how there's kind of a bit of a bad blood between Oshi and Ire, which is very interesting since back in 1978 they were acquaintances. They weren't close, but Ire didn't hate him back then, but now he hates him for some reason. Maybe because of the dams, maybe because of the murders. Who knows?
じゃあ最初からいきなり単刀直入に。シオンさんって北条聡さんのこと好き？
Oh, he's gone missing, hasn't he?
はあ？速攻退屈なんで即帰りますよ。
じゃあ今のはなしということで。
Oshi must have known why I had to remove my fingernails. He wasn't trying to confirm that I liked Satoshi-kun. What was he really saying was that he knew already.
サトシ君の事件当日のアリバイなら先日熊谷刑事さんに全部お話ししたつもりです。
もちろん私も熊谷君の調書は読んでます。あなたがサトシ君と一緒にいたことは知ってます。
何度聞かれたって同じ話しかしませんよ、私。 ごく反復して聞いたら、そのうちにボロを出すとか考えてるなら、大雨もいいとこです。
まさかまさか、そんなこと考えてません。あなたは頭のいい人です。そんな手に引っかかるなんて思っちゃいません。
ならどういう手を考えてるやら。どちらにせよ、私からサトシ君のことを何か聞き出そうとしても、それは無駄なことです。先日お話しした以上のことは何もありません。ああ、残念。やっぱり退屈な話でしたね。私、帰らせてもらいます。そういう約束でしたからね。失礼します。
I got up off the couch.
シオンさん、確かに私はあなたからサトシさんのアリバイを聞こうと思っていました。それは認めますよ。
なら決まりです。やっぱり退屈でした。帰ります。
I turned around and started walking. Oshi didn't get anxious, but instead spoke a little louder.
でもね、シオンさん、私が聞きたいのはサトシさんの事件当日のアリバイじゃない。
Where was he last seen?
昨日のアリバイなんです。
昨日？なんで昨日のアリバイなんかが聞かれるんですか？昨日のサトシ君のアリバイがおばさんが殺された事件とどう関係があるってんです？
昨日、サトシ君が出かけたまま失踪されたからです。
Bingo. What?
サトシ君が失踪されたことはご存知なかった？
I couldn't say anything, but my expression answered Oshi's question anyway.
どういうことですか？失踪って何？
やっぱり座ったらどうです？
サトシ君が失踪したって何？
一つ確実に分かっていることは、彼が3時前に沖宮の郵便局で貯金を全額下ろしているということだけです。その後の足取りはつかめません。
I knew why he retrieved that money. He wanted to buy Sadako's birthday present. Yes, he definitely bought that teddy bear yesterday.
これは私の想像ですよ。
Now, this is very interesting. Since we know the teddy bear is gone, it makes it seem more like Satoshi didn't withdraw all of his sayings and go into like a different country or whatever. It seems like to me he withdrew his savings, bought the teddy bear, but couldn't make it back to Sadako, and was instead kidnapped or demoned away, or however you want to say it, by this mysterious third faction, the director's faction, or whatever.
彼はひょっとしてそのお金でどっか遠くに蒸発したんじゃないかなって。
Also, a couple episodes ago, I heard how in one of the comments that said like in chapter 3 how Kechi dies in that chapter is after the whole gas incident, he dies of a heart attack, right? After he hears the footsteps once again. And the same thing kind of happens at the end of chapter 2. What I construed at the end of chapter 2 is that it's either Kechi died in the hospital because of like, I don't know, hallucinations or insanity or psychosis or whatever, or he was, murdered, or maybe he went on to have a normal life after chapter 2. And that the footsteps represent the director's faction going after both Satoshi, Kechi, and Rena. The biggest hole in that theory that like I don't want that makes me I don't know, is the fact of what does Rena have to do with any of this? If the footsteps are representative of the director's faction, what does Rena have to do with any of this? She is not part of any of the three families, right? You could say the same thing for Kechi. Because she already left Himazawa. She'd never been there before once. It's, unlike Kechi. Why would the director's faction bring her back into Himazawa? That's what I'm very confused about. Satoshi and Kechi kind of make sense. With Kechi, maybe he was getting too close to the truth, right? Gotta take him out. With Satoshi, he's a Hoijo. Maybe put the blame on the Sonozakis. With Rena, it really wouldn't make sense to, cause her to have these footstep hallucinations or make her paranoid. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But, I guess we'll find out.
逃走資金だってんですか？バッカバカしい。あのお金はね、サトコの誕生日プレゼントを買うためにサトシ君が貯めていたんです。それであのおもちゃ屋にあったでかくて高いぬいぐるみを買ったんです。逃走に使うお金になんかなるわけないです。
確かにあのおもちゃ屋から一番高いぬいぐるみが売れていました。でもね、それをサトシ君が買った確証が取れないんです。
店の人に聞けばそんなのわかりますって。私とサトシ君で買う予約までしてるんですから。
I had a bad feeling. The little man who was watching the store was sweeping when we were there. He'd look very senile. Maybe he was also watching that store on that day, and even though Satoshi-kun bought the teddy bear, he didn't remember. Yoshi put on a wise smile. It was like he already tried to question that old man.
とにかくあれを買ったのはサトシ君なんです。サトシ君はぬいぐるみの金額ギリギリしかお金がなかったはずだから。
Shit, maybe. Here's another theory. Satoshi-kun did one away, and maybe the faction bought the teddy bear to make it more confusing for investigators. Maybe.
ぬいぐるみ代を支払ってさらに逃亡資金を用意できたなんて思えません。めちゃめちゃもいいとこです。
いいですよ。じゃあサトシ君がぬいぐるみを買ったことでもいいです。じゃあそのぬいぐるみを持ってどうして帰らなかったんですか？
At that point, I felt as though my heart had turned to ice. Satoshi-kun had been working hard to buy that teddy bear even though he was under extreme mental and physical stress. After all that, he finally managed to buy it. It's unthinkable that somebody else just showed up and bought the same teddy bear. The teddy bear was gone because Satoshi-kun bought it. Nobody else! But if so, Satoshi-kun should have given it to Sadako. But though he bought a present for her, he didn't come home. He didn't come home? That wasn't possible. He would have gone straight home with that teddy bear. He wouldn't think of running away after buying the teddy bear. Even though Satoshi-kun wanted to run away from the police, he'd never leave without giving Sadako her present. Anyway, it must have been Satoshi-kun who bought that teddy bear. I can't say that with 100% certainty. The question was, why didn't he bring it home? That teddy bear was huge. It wouldn't fit into the basket of a bicycle. He might have bought some straps to tie it to his bike. He wouldn't have thought of running away on a wobbly bicycle like that. He necessarily had to go home after buying the teddy bear from the store after withdrawing the money. Nothing could have happened when he was going between the ATM and the toy store. It was impossible. Nobody else could have possibly bought that teddy bear. Never! The teddy bear had been sitting in the showcase up until that day. Everybody could see him when they passed by, but nobody wanted it. It's impossible that it could have been somebody else. There should be no question that he went to the toy store after he withdrew the money. What about the route between the toy store and his home? There shouldn't be any question there either. He shouldn't have been able to do anything for that huge toy. He shouldn't have even thought of making a stop on the way. So he must have headed home, right after he bought the teddy bear. But nobody saw him after that. It was simple then. Satoshi-kun went missing on his way home from the toy store. He went missing? What did that mean? I was sure he killed his aunt. He's not that shrewd. Maybe he couldn't bear the pressure from the police? Was he resigned to the idea that the police were going to arrest him soon regardless of my help? Did he decide to run away? Did he think that he should disappear until things cooled down rather than get arrested? That was definitely, absolutely impossible. It was impossible that he came to the conclusion on his way home from the toy store. Even if he did, he would have waited until he gave Sadako her birthday present. Satoshi-kun loves Sadako. He shouldn't have spoiled her like that, but anyway, he always tried to be a good brother to her, so he never disappeared before going home. I felt as though the ice was cutting through my heart, expanding the frost. If Satoshi-kun didn't disappear by his own will, the answer was simple. Satoshi-kun disappeared by somebody else's will.
サトシ君が消された。バカバカしいです。やっぱり退屈な話ですよ、おじさま。
I thought I could shake off the frost in my heart if I laughed loudly enough. Kept laughing until it happened. Kept laughing and laughing. All the cops in the room stared at me. They thought I'd gone crazy. I didn't care what they thought. I kept laughing until it turned into a cough. I finished laughing and took a sip of lukewarm coffee. I felt as though the frost in my heart had spread all throughout my guts. It was chilled to the bone. It was freezing. My fingers shook as I held the coffee cup.
シオンさん、ちょっと口を挟まずに聞いててほしいんです。これから私がちょいと想像した話を申し上げます。全部でっち上げです。だからきっとシオンさんはあまりのいい加減な内容に吹き出しちゃいそうになるかもしれません。それでも最後まで黙って聞いていてほしいんです。約束してもらえます？
いや、約束なんて何でもするから。早く言いなさいよ。
I was feeling far too cold. My teeth were chattering. I felt as though my brain had frozen as well. I lost my ability to think. I couldn't do anything by myself. I could only do as Oshi told me. What was he going to tell me might be the worst possible theory, but I had to listen to it.
死んだおばがサトシ君とサトコさんをいじめていたことはよーく聞いています。
Yeah.
中でもサトコさんを執拗にいじめていたこともね。その中でサトシ君が妹をかばうためにおばに殺意を募らせていったとしても、私は人として自然な流れだと思います。
I had to deny that Satoshi-kun murdered her, but what Oshi was saying was true. Couldn't deny his hypothesis right away. I just kept silent.
ここからは空想ですよ。絶対に怒らないでください。口を挟むのもなし。
Damn, this music. Oof.
いいですね。
分かってるから。早く続けなさいよ。
北条聡はおば殺しを計画し実行した。ねえ、もちろん証拠なんてありませんよ。全部私の妄想です。
分かってるって。あんたの妄想なのは百も承知。だから早く続けて。
ここで話は変わります。シオンさん、あなたはサトシ君との交際を禁じられたんですよね。もう忘れろ。二度と関わるなと念をされたんですよね。それは実は不仲な両家の関係を意味嫌ったからでなく、殺人犯と園崎家の令嬢が恋仲であることに問題があったんじゃないかと思ったんです。
That is actually possible. After all, when I was pretending to be Mion, I already had a connection with Satoshi-kun. Before anyone knew, it was Shion who was spending time around him. Could have been accused when I was helping out the Himizawa fighters that the relationship between the Hojos and the Sonozakis was the problem. Wouldn't be difficult for the Sonozaki family to know that Satoshi-kun murdered his aunt if it happened in Himizawa. Maybe one of them even saw the murder. The Sonozaki family didn't like that I was in love with a murderer, they decided to step in.
あと、あなた諦めが悪いことでも知られてるんじゃないですか。つまり園崎本家にサトシ君との縁を切れと脅されて爪を剥がされてもサトシ君との縁を切りかねていましたよね。
I couldn't deny that. I lost most of my means to access Himizawa, so my ties to Satoshi-kun were especially cut. True. But I still knew Satoshi-kun's phone number, and I expected him to rejoin the Himizawa fighters eventually.
園崎本家はサトシ君とあなたの縁はちょっと脅しただけじゃ絶対に切れないと分かっていたと思います。あなたをいくら脅してもどうにもならない。じゃあもう一人の方をどうにかするしかないですよね。
どうにかって何？どうにかって何よ？何？
If threatening me was useless, then they'd do something about Satoshi-kun. What would they have done? If they pulled something, then that interrupt his path from the toy store to home. Toy store to home. Toy store to X to home. What's X? What is X? X marks the spot where his path was interrupted. But what interrupted it? Why couldn't Satoshi-kun make it home from the toy store if something interrupted him? Why? What's X? X! I ran out of air, became dizzy, and then collapsed. The floor felt cold. Felt no pain. I'd fallen to the floor like a plastic doll. You know what? That is a pretty good fucking theory, actually. Makes a lot of sense for why the Sonozakis wouldn't want one of their relatives to be involved with a murder suspect, because it could tie them into the Sonozaki thing, and they, investigate that place and get fucking busted. So they took care of him. Oshi and some others rushed over to me and helped me up.
落ち着いてシオンさん。サトシ君が殺されたとはまだ限りません。
You're not certain he was killed? What the fuck are you talking about? Don't you know that the torture room where they forced me to whip off my fingernails? Don't you know that they say there are prison cells and a well for disposing of corpses in the back? The Sonozaki family wants to eliminate somebody. They definitely kill him in that torture room and dump the body down there. You're not certain? Are you dumb? Is your brain made of tofu? If I were in the hag's position, I'd kill him for sure. I wouldn't let him get away. If I would kill him, then the hag would definitely kill him.
シオンさん落ち着いて。これはまだ未確認情報ですが、名古屋駅でイエデニン風の若者を見たという情報が入っています。東京行きの新幹線に乗ったそうです。服装の特徴などが一致しませんでしたが、警察の追跡等を意識して衣替えをしている可能性もあります。服装が違うからサトシ君でないとは言い切れませんよ。
生きてるの？サトシ君生きてる？
ここからもまた私の想像になりますがね。あなたの双子のお姉さんのミヨンさん、次期当主ということで園崎お涼の身近にいますよね。園崎お涼はおそらく最初はサトシ君をこっそり殺してしまおうと提案したと思います。それをあなたのお姉さんが止めたんじゃないかと思うんです。
Mion? That was possible. She could have tried to calm things down out of pity for me. That idiot was always so indecisive. She should have been clear on if she wanted to save him or not. She probably seemed vague about that. She must have persuaded the hag to reduce the punishment to banishment of death, just to avoid feeling guilty.
おそらく園崎本家はサトシ君と接触したでしょう。
You know what I like about the different theories in this particular game is that in other series when a character makes a theory, your first thought as a viewer is okay, if the characters in the thing are making this theory, then that means it's correct. Well, with this, it's possible. It definitely is possible this is the correct answer. or it could not be. You know, there's just so many different wares there's so many different angles you can look at this mystery. I feel like every single person who has played this game has made up so many different theories, and from so many different perspectives. It's absolutely insane to think about. Because with this playthrough, I've made so many theories, some correct, some not, of just there's just so many different angles you can look at this mystery, so many different wares, so many different like motives, different connections you can make. It's so goddamn well written. I'm just saying, it's so good.
今回の事件はかばいきれない。だから自分の身は自分で守るためにどこかへ姿を隠せと忠告したはずです。いや、強要したと言った方が似合うでしょうね。
サトシ君は絶対拒否すると思います。だってあのサトシ君が妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられるわけがない。
私もそう思います。確かサトシ君は園崎美音さんの紹介でバイトをしてましたよね。だからサトシ君に逃走資金になるまとまったお金があることを知っていたと思います。
でもサトシ君はそのお金をぬいぐるみを買う以外には絶対に使わないはずです。
でしょうね。サトシ君は貯金を下ろしたら迷うことなくおもちゃ屋に向かうでしょう。でももしですよ、サトシ君がおもちゃ屋にたどり着くと、もうぬいぐるみが売れてしまっていてなくなっていたら、
That would have been a very desolate situation. He'd been working hard. While his aunt abused him, he worked at many different jobs. The money was worth all that pain. He went to the toy store with that money in order to buy his beloved sister a present. That was the only purpose for that money. He must have looked for the teddy bear as he'd always done. But it was gone. He wouldn't have gone into a panic right away, because he was always so optimistic. He might have thought the toy store was wrapping the gift for him because he told them they'd pick it up that day. He must have gone into the store joyously. I couldn't guess exactly what happened next. My heart would tear up if I tried to imagine it anyway. Why didn't they have it, though he had it reserved? Did that old man understand the situation, or was he just zoning out? Maybe it would have been the same even if it wasn't that old man who was at the store at that time. If a bunch of fierce-looking subordinates from the Sonozaki family went in and showed them the money, nobody could have rejected it. Satoshi-kun must have sunk into silence. No matter how hard he complained, the teddy bear was gone. He probably never even considered that his dream might be taken away. He must have been wobbling his way home in sorrow, leaning on the telephone poles every now and then. It was the day he wanted Sadako to be happy the most. He couldn't get the present she wanted the most. He probably didn't think of getting another gift, because it was unimaginable that he couldn't get that teddy bear. He might have imagined how Sadako would react when she found out he had no present for her. He must have looked unbelievably sad and empty. The money he'd been saving meant nothing anymore. Satoshi-kun never cried, even at his toughest moments. Did he even know how to cry? There was always Sadako who was crying, so Satoshi-kun never learned how to cry, and he grew up that way. Did you know? People shed sadness from their hearts with tears. Satoshi-kun wasn't even allowed to do that. Even though his heart was filled with sorrow, he couldn't let it out.
妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられないと言いましたね。でももしも園崎本家が残った聡子さんの面倒は見るって言ってあったとしたらどう思います？
After Satoshi-kun found out the teddy bear was gone, all he had left were some crumpled bills. The family told him it was just a matter of time before the police got to him. They told him to run away. They said they'd take care of Sadako. Satoshi-kun didn't feel like seeing his sister. He wandered and found himself at Okayama Station. He must have been apologizing to Sadako so many times in his mind. He swore to come back someday. He headed to Nagiota and then to Tokyo. But that meant he's alive. He's alive. Should be able to see him again someday. He must be coming back, so I'll definitely see him again.
そうしてずっと遠方に隠れ家か受け入れ先を用意してくれたんじゃないかと思います。サトシ君はそこを目指したのでしょう。
じゃあ無事なんだ。いつか帰ってくるんですよね。
No, she looked up to the ceiling and stretched. He didn't answer me. On June 24th, 1982, Satoshi Hurjo went missing. There is a possibility that he ran away, as he was the prime suspect of the murder that happened on the 20th of the same month. Allegedly, someone resembling him was seen at Nagiota Station, embarking on a train heading to Tokyo, but the truth is unknown. No one has seen him since. As a matter of fact, no one even knows if he's still alive. Where the hell are you, Satoshi? Are you dead? Are you alive? Did you run away? Or did you get murdered? Who knows? Alright, let's check out these new tips. 34. The information that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo hasn't been verified. It started as follows. A young man came to the lost and found window looking for his wallet. The station employee asked him to write down his name on the form. Then the young man started writing Hojo as his name, but he stopped in the middle, crumpled the form, and wrote a totally different name on another form. Another station employee witnessed a similar looking young man rushing into the train heading to Tokyo. The employee from the lost and found, and the employee who was on the platform, talked about the suspicious young man in the locker room. That was all. The wallet of the man named Hojo was never reported as found to the lost and found office. Okay, so his wallet was in the lost and found. Interesting. Well, could mean two things. One, Satoshi left it there. Or two, the Sonozakis took it out of his dead body's pocket and placed it there to cast the illusion of that, and they made a decoy to go to the train. All very possible. At first, I thought Oshi's theory that the Sonozaki family banished Satoshi-kun from Himizawa and looked after Sadako in return was bogus. But thinking about it now, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. After all, Sadako Hojo started living with Rika Furude after Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Rika Furude isn't just a regular girl. She was the head of the Furude family, one of the three families. The head of the Kimiwoshi family is Rika Furude's guardian. The Sonozaki family probably couldn't step in due to having been officially opposed to the Hojo family, but Sadako Hojo is in the custody of the three families now. Makes sense. Even though the Hojo family was severely ostracized during the Dan conflict, Sadako Hojo was now under protection. It seems as though only Sadako was exempted from blame. Why was she spared even though Satoshi-kun wasn't? Still that hatred. Alright, on to, let's go. On to the next chapter.
今なんて？
信頼できる筋の噂ですが、サトシ君のおば殺しの犯人が見つかったらしいです。
Ah, yes, the drug addict. It had been a few weeks since the murder. Satoshi-kun still hadn't been found. I had no new information on his whereabouts. Kasai's report came, as a result, completely out of the blue.
それって警察が逮捕したって意味？
聞いた話では、逮捕というより別件で取り調べを受けていた男が余罪として自供したんだとか。
That sounded strange. If it was Satoshi-kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. It sounded as though Satoshi-kun wasn't the culprit.
葛西、結局犯人って誰だったの？
So it wasn't Satoshi-kun? I swallowed those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi-kun. The police and Oshi must have thought the same way. The reason Oshi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi-kun did it.
ご安心を。サトシ君ではないようですよ。連続開始事件を模倣した異常者の犯行というような話みたいです。
はい？異常者？何それ？
Kasai shrugged.
さあ、私もそれ以上は。何しろ今回の事件は秘匿捜査指定というものがかかっているんだそうです。なのでほとんど情報が出回らないんです。
秘匿捜査？何それ？
連続開始事件による村への風評被害対策ということらしいです。誘拐事件なんかでも犯人との交渉が行われている間は新聞に載らなかったりするでしょ。ああいう類のものらしいです。
Come to think of it, I hadn't seen anything about the aunt's murder on TV or in the newspaper.
何しろ4年連続で綿流しの日に事件が起こっているわけですからね。お社様のたたりだと騒いで面白がる輩も多いそうですし。そうそう、何でもそのおば殺しの異常者ですが、連続開始事件を模倣したくて行ったと自供したんだとか。
If this lunatic could very be easily just as decoyed by the Sonozaki family. You know, it's very easy to do that. Maybe drug him up, you know, send him like in a bad situation, get the cops to arrest him on another charge, and then during the confession he speaks, or else he's, you know, dead. Which I'm gonna believe him. Kasai didn't know anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi-kun killed her. I thought that was the reason he had to disappear. But it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever. So Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with the murder? If so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. What's really strange is the phrase Kasai used, 4 years in a row now. After all, I've been thinking that this murder happened because Satoshi-kun had been in a dire situation, and had nothing to do with a series of mysterious deaths. I felt as though Satoshi-kun's case had become somebody else's. A series of mysterious deaths in Himizawa is also known as the Curse of Oshiro-sama. Satoshi-kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi-kun's case had become a part of Oshiro-sama's curse. I didn't like the way that sounded, because it was as though the curse had swallowed Satoshi-kun.
残念ながら例の東京行きの新幹線に乗ったらしいという情報も確認が取れないままです。正直なところ県の中にいるのか外にいるのかそれすらも分かっちゃいません。
Oshi broke the seal on a new can of instant coffee.
あれだけ胸を張ってサトシ君が犯人だと息巻いていたから、もう行方を掴んでるとばかり思ってました。
いやいや情けない限りです。
Oshi chuckled and poured a cup of coffee which looked far too hot.
しかし 耳が早いな。
はい。
一口操作してだってのに、どこの誰が漏らしてるやら。やれやれ。うちの傍聴も問題があるな。
Oh, she smirked. Seemed he knew why I was here today.
まあ腐っても園崎の端くれですので、多少の噂は耳にできますということで。
I smirked back at him. It's all about bluffing.
まあいいか。腹を割り合った仲ですしね。いいですよ。おしゃべりしましょう。
まず聞かせてください。真犯人って一体何者です？異常者とか聞きましたけど、それってどういうことですか？
どういうことって言われたってね。そりゃ私だって言いたいですよ。私はサトシ君が犯人の一点読みでしたからね。とんだ万馬券が飛び出したもんです。
Oshi threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled wearily.
先日ですね、県警の方から急に連絡が来たんですよ。すでに逮捕して取り調べをしている男が主婦殺しを自供したって。
それは何者？
薬に手を出したとんでもない野郎でしてね。出所しては捕まるの繰り返しだそうです。ひなみ沢村連続開始事件が面白そうだったんで、4年目のたたりは自分が下してみたくなったとかなんとか。
間違いなくそいつが犯人？
私が直接話を聞いたわけじゃないんですがね。先方が取った供述調書には、いわゆる犯人しか知り得ない情報ってやつががっつりと含まれていたんですよ。
How so?
凶器を王子川のどこかで捨てたって言ってましてね。今はドブさらいの最中ですよ。これで供述通りに凶器が発見されれば完璧でしょうな。
たとえ凶器が見つからなくても、おおむね確定？
確定でしょうな。現場の状況と仏の状況を正確に供述しています。襲った本人にしかわからないような細かいあたりまでね。
納得はいってないみたいですね。
Oshi is still looking up at the ceiling when quiet.
実はね、とっくに亡くなってるんですよ。うちに連絡があった時にはすでに。
What?
亡くなってる？
給食とかに出てくるでしょ、先割れスプーン。
Sporks?
留置場の食事にもあれが出てくるんですよ。そいつを飲み込んで窒息したんだとか。
Huh.
自殺なのか錯乱なのか、ちょっと区別がつかないですがね。
Imagine somebody swallowing that spoon and gagged.
だから十分に納得するまで調べられたわけじゃありません。私は納得できないんですがね。上の方は十分に納得しちゃったようでした。どうもその愉快犯が主婦殺しの犯人ってことで決着しそうな流れです。
Oshi turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. He looked serious.
これは個人的な意見ですよ。他の誰にも内緒ということで。私はこの大バカたりは何かの間違いだと思ってます。何かの偶然による壮大な勘違いか、もしくは。
It's very possible that he could have said it because in actual like history there have been a lot of like people like copycat killers or like I mean, for example, during the Zodiac killings back in the 60s, when the first letter of the Zodiac killer was sent to the police, hundreds of others were also sent to the police because people wanted to be the Zodiac killer, you know? for some reason. It's a very weird thing for, like, you know, true crime of people sending in hundreds of letters and the police not like the police gotta find something that, like, you know, like a MI for, like, the specific letter they need to find that's the actual killer instead of 1,000 fakes, you know. So it really could be of two things. One, this guy was set up by the Sonozaki family, told, you know, some good information of it, and, you know, sent him into, like, the detention center, and then later on, you know, tell his confession, then, you know, kill himself and all that. Or he could be a guy who, I don't know, made a bunch of shit up and just got lucky. I don't know.
全然意味わかんないですよ、大石のおじさま。
私は今でも犯人は北条聡君だと思っています。
Oh, absolutely.
きっぱり言い切りますね。
残念ながら現場検証では犯人を特定できるような痕跡は何一つ発見できませんでした。サトシ君が失踪した後、家宅捜索の許可が下りましてね。家を改めさせてもらいましたが、それでも手がかりはゼロ。
それでもサトシ君が犯人だと疑ってる。
ねえ。
証拠もないのにどうやったらそこまで人を殺人犯呼ばわりできるのやら。大したもんです。長年の勘ってやつですか。
ええ。この道で何十年も飯を食ってきた男の直感です。
Oh, she smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved.
サトシ君はどこへ。
サトシ君が失踪した理由の一つこそが彼が犯人であるからだと固く信じていたんです。サトシ君が犯人でないならそのあたりがかなり薄れちゃいますからね。
おば殺しの犯人はその愉快犯で、サトシ君の失踪とは無関係。サトシ君失踪は私とサトシ君の仲を裂くために園崎本家がやったもの。おば殺しとは無関係という考え方は。
Was Satoshi-kun a culprit or a victim? The reason for his disappearance had become unclear.
私は旧敵との恋仲程度で人一人を失踪させるなんてリスクを冒すとは思わないんですがね。
I mean, yeah, especially go through, like, all this trouble.
実際園崎家の内部としてはどうなんです。シオンさんはそのあたり何かご存知？
知っていたらこんなとこに来ません。
ごもっともごもっとも。
Oshi laughed out loud while scratching his head. After he stopped laughing, he leaned over.
よーし。なら一つどうですかね。協定を結びませんか。紳士協定。
協定？何のです？
サトシ君失踪事件捜査情報共有協定。裏の界隈でサトシ君の失踪に関する情報を得られたら私にも教えてください。もちろん私もサトシ君についての情報が入ったらあなたに提供します。いかがです？
なんだか一方的な虫のいい話に思えますけど。
Oshi chuckled.
シオンさん、このまま行くと主婦殺しの犯人はすでに死んでるその大バカタレってことで確定すると思います。そうなるとサトシ君の扱いは単なる家出人になります。つまり積極的な捜査は打ち切られるということです。ですが私だけは続けます。 私だけはサトシ君の行方を引き続き探します。シオンさんも私もサトシ君の行方を探しているという点では一致してると思うんですがね。
目的が全然違いますがね。私は単に無事を確認したいだけですが、大石のおじさまにとっては逮捕が目的でしょうから。
主婦殺しが決着すればサトシ君は無実ってことになりますよ。
Don't worry. He'll be nice, safe, and sound in a cell.
真実はどうかは別にしてもね。
怪しいもんです。
Oh, she chuckled again, but a smile didn't reach his eyes.
まあ今後も仲良くやりましょう。敵の敵は味方とも言いますしね。
別に私、園崎本家と敵対しているわけじゃありませんよ。
なあ、本当に？ならそりゃ失礼。
This is the way of Kurado Oshi, huh? Assistant Kasai said, I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally because both would be too risky. Probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this big fat weasel. I sipped on the coffee to fill up the silence, though I wasn't thirsty. Outside the window I could see normal life taking its course. But Satoshi-kun wasn't there. He should have been there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. Where was he?
サトシ君はどうしてるんだろう。
無事だといいんですがね。
チェ、生きてる可能性は薄いとか思っているくせに気休め言わないでほしいです。
サトシ君の失踪、ひなみ沢じゃなんて言われてるか知ってます？
え？
鬼隠しにあったなんて言われてるんだとか。
To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's part of the local dialect.
鬼が淵沼の底の鬼の国にさらわれたって？バカバカしい。
とにもかくにも連続開始事件もこれで4年目です。気の早い話ですがね、来年もまた起こるんじゃないかなんてもうささやかれてるんだとか。
おば殺しがお社様のたたりのせいだって言うんですか？
全体的に見てみれば仏も北条家の一人。ダム戦争の戦犯と縁がないわけじゃないですからね。しかもまたしても綿流しの日にとなれば面白がる連中が現れるのも無理もないことです。
バカバカしい。何がお社様のたたりだ。
Though I said that, I couldn't quite wipe away the fear from my mind. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Was it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Oshiro-sama's curse has nothing to do with it. But... That's strange. Satoshi-kun and Oshiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. When did I hear that? Ah, that's right. That rainy day. It was Rena Rigu who told me that when we were taking shelter in that shack. I remember the creepy story that she told me at the time.
サトシ君は心のどこかでひなみ沢を捨ててどこかへ逃げ出したいと思ってるから。
That's what Rena Rigu said. Rena had definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Himizawa at that time. She also said...
サトシ君が体験していることはすべてお社様のたたりの前触れなの。
She said that, for sure. She had definitely mentioned Oshiro-sama's curse. A series of mysterious deaths that had struck 4 times. Was Satoshi-kun being controlled by the curse? Is that why he killed his aunt and was demoned away? No way. It can't be true. Satoshi-kun smiled. Well, actually, I just remembered something. Every time someone has been possessed by Osho-sama, you know what weapon they use? A fucking metal baseball bat. Isn't that something to consider? Shit. Well, point one for the point one for the supernatural theory. God damn. Why did I just realize that now? Wow. God, this could be so many fucking things. It's so great. Like, it feels like we have one spot missing in this jigsaw puzzle, and we have like 10 different like pieces that like kind of look like it, and they all can fit into that certain space. It could, it honestly could be any of them. It really could. I feel like that's what makes this game's writing so, this game's mystery so good, is that you can come up with a million different theories, and it's like, really, any of them could be correct. If you want to go on the supernatural side of things, it's like, oh, of course, he was possessed by Osho-sama. He kept hearing, footsteps in his head. Or you could go for the realistic route I'm going through, is that the footsteps represent guilt. Or maybe you want to go the third faction route of, oh, the footsteps represent the paranoia that the director's faction has put into these certain people, you know? There's so many different perspectives you can go go at with this mystery. It's so great. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. Must have been done by human beings. I can't accept that he was demoned away. Library. I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. I moved with my notebook, my pen case with a bunch of keychains, and my cup of milk tea. I did it all in one go. I sat down in a new chair, then opened my notebook again, scribbled my thoughts, and sank into silence. A series of mysterious deaths, dubbed the Curse of Osho-sama. I've been viewing each incident as a separate case. Even though it was followed by another one, I never looked at all the cases as part of one big scheme. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. The first year, the construction site manager. Second year, Satoshi-kun's parents. Third year, the priest. Fourth year, Satoshi-kun's aunt. For the fourth year, one can consider Satoshi-kun himself to be the victim, rather than his aunt. If I consider that each case arose from the grudge over the dam conflict, it's quite simple. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was a symbol of the dam construction itself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction, but it wasn't as clear as a target. The manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. If Osho-sama had really cursed someone, it would have been the officials from the ministry. It's apparent that the target was selected based on the villagers' preference. The second year, the accidental death of Satoshi-kun's parents. It said that they fell from a cliff in some park, but it's doubtful that it was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village because they sided with the dam construction, even though they were also from Himezawa. The Ojo family was ostracized during the dam conflict in order to prevent further pro-dam activists from rising up. That means that the Hojos were necessary during the conflict to play the role of the traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. The construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The Hojos were a symbol of the internal enemy. Those people fell victim to the curse, and it seemed that the grudge over the dam conflict had ended. Yet those incidents were followed by another one. The third year. The leader of one of the three families, the priest Furude, suddenly died of an illness with an unknown cause. His wife drowned herself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing herself to pacify Oshiro-sama's anger. Whether it was a fatal disease or suicide, their deaths looked suspicious. Mion admitted that the Sonozaki family didn't like the priest's attitude. They didn't like how the priest had been generous toward the pro-dam activists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized that the curse was performed based on the degree of hostility: enemy, traitor, and descendant. This meant that the curse was actually payment. It was a punishment from the criminals of war. In the fourth year, I didn't understand this case at first, to be honest. At first, I believed that this case was separate from the other ones, even though it occurred on the same day. I never thought that there would be any relation to the other three, but when I wrote it down and looked at it objectively, the victim is a relative of a traitor. After enemy, traitor, descendant, relative of a traitor doesn't sound too odd. It comes naturally as a fourth target. On the day the villagers worship Oshiro-sama, the guardian deity, the criminals of the dam conflict have been punished by the curse. Just like how I was forced to pay at the Sonozaki house, the criminals were made to pay as well. After writing these things out, I started thinking that the fourth incident might be in line with a series of mysterious deaths after all. Whether it was Satoshi-kun or the dopehead, it seemed that they were forced to play the role of a murderer, or as a part of a bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi-kun was the real culprit, even if he killed his aunt because of an ordinary grudge, the murder seemed synchronized with the grand scheme of the series of mysterious deaths in Himizawa, which is a payment plan for the war criminals. That murder was the result of his pain. But what if somebody planned that as part of a scenario? For instance, somebody might have suggested to him to kill his aunt on that day, that night, at that place. I had no doubts that Satoshi-kun decided to kill her in order to protect Sadako. But did he really reach that conclusion on his own? Satoshi-kun was optimistic and somewhat detached, as far as I know. Would he really have considered murdering his aunt, even if it was to protect his sister? Couldn't it be possible for somebody to have chosen the aunt as the fourth year's murder beforehand? And they used Satoshi-kun? Satoshi-kun was eliminated because of his connection with them. Looking at it that way, the murder of the first year resembles this case. The main culprit behind that case hasn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testified that their fight had turned into a slaughter. But wouldn't it be possible that the main culprit had manipulated the situation? What if he had been told to kill somebody on that day, at that time, and in that place? I'm certain. The first murder resembles Satoshi-kun's case very much. Now I think about it, though, it's kind of... So did that mean Satoshi-kun was being controlled by somebody else? Oshie presented me with a hypothesis that the Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear in order to end my relationship with a murderer. But when I read the notes I wrote down, his disappearance didn't seem too spontaneous. It seemed like a part of a bigger plan. Since I unexpectedly got involved in that plan, I had to be separated from him. Then Satoshi-kun was demoned away, as planned. At first, I also believed that the Sonozaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that I was in love with a member of a family of traitors. But something didn't add up. Something felt strange. I wasn't the reason for his disappearance after all. Even if I never met him in the first place, Satoshi-kun was supposed to kill his aunt in June 1982 and then disappear. At one point, I'd been thinking of taking revenge on the hag. I believe that she separated us. But what if my relationship with Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with his disappearance? What would that mean? Who made Satoshi-kun disappear? I need to understand the series of mysterious deaths in order to solve this mystery. What did all these deaths mean? Who was behind them, and what purpose did they serve? I wanted to know the purpose, the motive, and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi-kun? I wanted to know if he was still alive. The series of mysterious deaths in Himizawa is also called Oshiro-sama's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oshiro-sama? What blessings does he bring and what punishments does he dole out? I wrote down my thoughts in this notebook. What's Oshiro-sama? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was so absorbed by it that I didn't realize somebody had been standing behind me, watching me the whole time. I couldn't stop myself from gasping from when I realized that. Ah, shit! Takano!
驚かせちゃったかしら。
The intelligent-looking woman giggled.
いえ、びっくりしただけです。こちらこそ場違いな大声を出してすみませんでした。
Now, the first 4 murders make sense in the context Shion put them in. You know, first enemy, then traitor, then dissociate, then relative of the traitor. But what about the 5th year? I'm going to believe that the 5th year Oshiro-sama murder is Tomiki and Takano. What connection do they have with the dam projects? From what we've seen, they have no connection to the dam projects at all. So why would they be murdered? It could be because they went into the storehouse. Perhaps. Maybe intruder? Possibly. But why would they murder them too? It's very interesting. She could have apologized a little better too since she'd been watching me from behind. But she just stared at my face instead.
あなたが園崎紫音さん？私の名前を知ってて、私が初対面ということは、お姉の知り合いか何かですか？
Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you've never met before can tell exactly who you are.
ごめんなさいね。私の知っている園崎さんは図書館なんかに来るような人じゃないから。噂に聞いた双子のシオンさんかなと思って。
The woman giggled again.
お察しの通り、私は園崎シオンです。どうもはじめまして、こんにちは。失礼ですがどちら様ですか？あら、ごめんなさいね。自己紹介がまだだったわね。
She seemed to love her own hair because she kept running her fingers through it boastfully.
高野美代。美代って呼んでくれていいわよ。シオンちゃん。
No, I'm now thinking back to chapter 3. It was Takano who murdered Tomiki for some reason. And then she got killed herself. Still don't know what that's about.
お気遣いありがとうございます、高野さん。
Or maybe that could be a red herring in chapter 3. But I'm pretty sure Takano murdered Tomiki. And because she is a nurse and, syringes and, Tomiki got drugged up and whipped out his own throat. Her condescending attitude bugged me. I hate meeting people like that. I closed my notebook and got ready to leave the desk.
あら、怒ってる？ご検察、痛み入ります。私は一人で考え事をするのが好きなんで、よそへ行かせていただきます。失礼します。ごきげんよう。残念ね。私たち話が合うと思ったのに。そうですか？私は合うとは思いかねますが。だってお社様のたたりについて研究する同志に出会えたんですもの。貴重な出会いだと思うんだけど。
She saw my notes. My face reddened.
これは私の、そう、妄想みたいなもの。でたらめです。子供の落書きなんかほっといてください。お社様のたたりと呼ばれる一連の連続開始事件。
Oh, here she goes.
いずれの事件も個別に見えながら
確実に一つの意志に基づいて行われている。毎年一人がお社様のたたりにあって死に、一人が生贄に捧げられて失踪する。
何を急に言い出すんですか？一人がたたりで死んで、一人が何ですって？
I was taken aback by your real spiel, but I realized right away that she said something extraordinary.
南沢村連続開始事件の犠牲者が常に偶数人数だってことはあなたも気づいてたんじゃない？それともまだそこまでには至ってなかったかしら？
Number of victims is always even. I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The dam construction site manager died in the first year. There was only one victim. In the second year, the victims were the parents of Satoshi-kun, so it was 2 people. The third year, it was the priest, and if her death was also planned his wife, 2 again. And this year, the 4th year, Satoshi-kun's aunt died and Satoshi-kun went missing. Satoshi-kun's disappearance was planned, the number of the victims was 2. It's true. Except for the first one, the victims always came in an even number, 2. Wait, I had just concluded myself that the first case resembled the 4th one. Yeah, because the culprit disappeared. The main culprit was still missing. He might have been demoned away, just like Satoshi-kun.
ね、そうでしょ。
Takano-san sounded like a teacher who just showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. I wasn't quite convinced, but I couldn't deny what she said either.
ヒントはこのくらいでいいかしら。二人で存分に語り明かしたかったんだけど、あなたが孤独を好むなら仕方がないしね。
失礼な口の聞き方をしてすみませんでした、ミオさん。私のことはシオンと呼んでください。
She seemed content that I changed my attitude, so she kept giggling for a while. She didn't seem that reliable. Didn't want to be antiquated with her for too long, but I don't get to talk to people very much, and what she said interested me.
改めて自己紹介するわね。高野美代よ。美代って呼んでくれると嬉しいわ。
よろしくです、ミオさん。私は園崎シオン。ミオンの双子の妹にあたります。シオンと呼んでください。
I took the hand that Mio-san held out as a sign of reconciliation.
さっきの話を聞かせてください。二人犠牲者が出ると言いましたね。一人がたたりで、もう一人が生贄とか言いましたか？
ねえ、シオンちゃん。このお話で盛り上がる前に、どうしてこの話に興味があるか聞かせてもらってもいいかしら。
Well, it all started in chapter 1. She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable.
ミオさんこそ、私のことをどこまでご存知です？ご存知なら、おおよその見当はつくんじゃないかと。
さあ。何年か遠くの全寮制の学校にいて、最近沖宮に戻ってきたとしか知らないわよ。
そうですか。じゃあ想像つきますよね。私がいない間に起こった連続開始事件。私はよくわからないので調べてるんです。ちょっとした興味本位で。
なるほどね。興味本位でね。
I got the impression that she knew about what happened to Satoshi-kun and me, because she instantly recognized me as Shion, not Mion. I don't know why I thought that way. She shouldn't have access to the forces that, for instance, Oshi does. It was just the look in her eyes that made me think that way.
ミオさんにも聞きます。さっき私のことをお社様のたたりについて調べる同志と言いましたね。なぜたたりなんか研究してるんですか？そして連続開始事件の犠牲者は偶数人であることも言い切りましたね。ひなみ沢連続開始事件は 確かに通称でお社様のたたりと呼ばれています。なぜたたりを研究すると連続開始事件にまで踏み込むことになるのですか？
シオンちゃん、質問が一度に多すぎるわね。それに何が聞きたいのかややこしくて分かりにくいわ。
God damn it, Takano. Stop being fucking mysterious and just tell me the answers. Oh, couldn't say anything in return. Maybe I've been too inquisitive.
順に答えるわね。私が研究しているのはたたりじゃなく、もっと講義。
Yeah, the folk war of the Himizawa.
鬼ヶ淵村の風俗詩よ。
Yeah.
平たく言えば古代ひなみ沢村の知られざる歴史、暗黒史について研究しているの。
鬼ヶ淵村？鬼ヶ淵って鬼の国につながってるっていう村の奥にある底なし沼のことですか？あと知られざる歴史、暗黒史って何です？
I have to asking questions. Mio-san, however, looked pleased to hear them.
鬼ヶ淵村というのはひなみ沢村の明治以前の名前よ。暗黒史というのは
I think
う
this
すうすは知っているでしょう。
I think this very much illustrates like how disconnected Shion is from Himizawa. I mean, hell, she doesn't know anything about the history. No, she could have a year later. She could have worn a. I was thinking back to chapter 2 and my whole theory of Shion dressing up as Mia, but she can wear it. It's only a year from now, so.
人食い鬼の歴史は
But still illustrates how disconnected she is from Himizawa and the whole Sonozaki family. Ah, the man-eating demons, huh? That was a fairy tale told in Himizawa. Long time ago, demons came out of the swamp, and while the villagers battled with them, they ended up living peacefully together. The villagers transcended and became a secret people, having demon blood in their veins, aka the Hanma bloodline. The long-forgotten fairy tale came back to my mind vividly.
ひなみ沢に縁のある人なら誰もが知ってる当たり前の昔話よね。ではその半人半鬼の仙人たちが
何の話ですか？
村人たちの体に半分流れる鬼の血は、鬼は鬼でも人食い鬼の血だったって話は聞いたことない？
ああ、まあそんな話もありますね。
I dodged the question. Himizawa used to be a desolate village, but it grew in prominence after the Second World War and expanded its influence to Okayama and other areas. The people who disliked and discriminated against the villagers called us man-eating demons. I remember that. The young villagers don't take it seriously, but the older people can get seriously upset about it. They certainly can't take it as a joke. So the term man-eating demons is forbidden. No more never use it. Even during my rebellious phase, I never spoke those words. Mio-san, however, seemed to have no qualms with saying it out loud.
気に障った？
何がですか？
人食い鬼って単語を意味嫌う村人は多いからね。気に障ったなら謝るけれど。
年寄り連中は気にするらしいですけど、まあ私はそんなには気にしてませんので。それより続けてください。
ありがとう。じゃあ続けるわね。古代の村人たちにはね。そしてその食人の儀式を様式化し、さまざまなセレモニーや文化、風習を生み出したと言われている。
You know, just traditional old, village, customs, values.
私たちが6月のお祭りだと思っている綿流しだって、本来はちょっと早い夏祭りなんかでは断じてない。本来は犠牲者をさらい、食べるために行う食人の宴だった。彼らはね、犠牲者を高速台に縛り付け、お魚をおろす時みたいに 腹渡を引きずり出してそれを川に投げ捨てたとされている。
So like how Rika was murdered in chapter 4.
ほら、魚の腹渡って綿って言うじゃない。それが語源よ、綿流しの。
綿流し。
そうよ。お布団の綿なんかでごまかすようになったのは、私の研究では明治の頃からじゃないかと思うわね。まさかこの昭和の時代にそんな恐ろしいことが堂々とできるわけもないのだし。
Everything Mio-san was talking about sounded startling. I was just taken aback. Couldn't wholly believe it right away. She sensed that from my expression.
もちろん思いつきなでっち上げなんかでは断じてない。誰にも見せないって誓うなら、綿流しのあたりの研究ノートを見せてあげてもいいけれど。
Mio-san took out a notebook from her bag and flipped through it. She appeared to be doing her research for her way.
ありがとうございます。お借りできるものなら後でゆっくり読んでみたいと思います。
ええ、いいわよ。本当は閲覧厳禁の秘密ノートだけれどね。研究の同志になら特別に見せてあげてもいいわね。
Mio-san handed me the notebook a bit hesitantly. It looked like it'd take a whole night to finish reading. It was densely packed with information. I saw copies of various documents and quotes in there too. It wasn't just some delusion of hers.
一番最初にミオさんは言いましたよね。毎年の事件で一人がたたりで死に、一人が生贄にされて失踪すると。
Person is sacrificed and disappears. Satoshi-kun had gone missing. Did he become a sacrifice? What is a sacrifice anyway? Mio-san looked pleased to hear my questions again. She took out another notebook and handed it to me.
読めばわかるけど、かいつまんで話すわね。お社様のたたりとは、簡単に言えばお社様の怒りのこと。お社様が怒ったら罰としてたたりが起こる。それはわかるわよね。
一応わかります。ダム戦争で村に敵対した人間たちにお社様が怒り、たたりが起こったと、そう言いたいわけですよね。
そうね。でね、お社様のたたりというのは放置してはいけないの。もっともっと大きなたたりを招くからね。だから神職である古出家の歴代当主たちは、お社様のたたりがあるたびにそのお怒りを鎮めるために生贄を捧げる必要があったの。それを生贄の儀と呼ぶみたいなんだけどね。
No.
じゃあつまり毎年綿流しの日にお社様のたたりで一人死んで、そのたたりを鎮めるためにさらにもう一人を生贄にして殺してると、そう言うんですか？でも一人しか死んでませんよ、現実に。生贄に捧げられたなんて聞いたこともない。
死体が出ないのは当然よ。だって生贄の儀式は犠牲者を鬼ヶ淵の沼に沈めることなんだもの。
Mm-hmm.
あの沼は一度沈めば二度と浮き上がることはないと言われる底なしの沼。死体なんて出ようはずもない。
じゃあ毎年のもう一人の犠牲者はみんな沼の底に沈んでると？
Does that mean Satoshi-kun is also at the bottom of that dark green swamp?
さあ、本当に沼の底に沈められているかはわからないわ。でも連続事件を起こしている人たちがそれを意識して一人を消していることは間違いないと思うわね。
Each year, a traitor to the village dies on the day of Wanakagashi because of Oshiro-sama's curse. Another person is sacrificed in order to pacify Oshiro-sama's anger. That person's body will never be found because he or she is supposedly thrown into the bottomless swamp.
そう、つまり 南沢村連続開始事件というのは2つでセットになったもの。そしてそれを毎年繰り返すことによってダム戦争時の旧敵を毎年2人ずつ殺していけるシステムのことを指しているの。私の話は省略しすぎてるからね。多分ちょっと信じがたいとは思う。だからこそあなたに預けた研究ノートをね、内容を理解できたなら私の話がそういい加減なものでもないことがわかるはず。
I heard a man's voice just then. Middle-aged man with a hat was waving a Mio sound from the entrance. Domiki.
ごめんなさい。待ち人が来たみたい。
Maybe.
もっとゆっくり話がしたかったのに残念。でも機会はまだこれからもあるでしょうしね。そのノートはそれまで預けておくわね。中身をよく読んで理解できたなら私のいい話し相手になってくれるのを楽しみにしているわね。
Mio-san wrapped up the conversation and headed to where the man was waiting for her. She left her own notebooks in my hands. Mio-san waved at me as she left the library with her companion. I took a seat again and opened what she'd given me. What bugged me was the series of mysterious deaths, also known as the Curse of Oshiro-sama. Maybe I'd been able to get close to the truth by reading these notebooks. If I studied them carefully, I might be able to find out who was really behind the incidents. Why did Satoshi-kun have to disappear? What was he involved in? How did that happen? Maybe Takuna's notes would bring me the answer. Research notes. Mio Takuna. I started flipping the pages, this time making sure that no one was watching over my shoulder. Night. It was time for the library to close and to leave. I bought some food on my way home. I shut my door and locked it right away. Then I heard the door of the neighboring apartment open. Guess I lived next door. Nobody else lived on this floor of the nearly empty apartment building anyway. Clearly heard the door open and close. Guess I must have noticed that I came home and was coming over because he wanted to talk to me. I unlocked the door and shouted out to him.
葛西なの？鍵は開いてますよ。葛西さんじゃないよ、シオン。
Oh shit. That voice. I twitched.
入るよ。どうぞ。おね。
The door slowly opened. My alter ego, Mion Sonozaki, appeared. She was holding a box of cake, while smiling timidly.
どうぞ上がってって言うまで玄関に突っ立ってるつもりですか？どうぞ上がって。全然可愛くない部屋で申し訳ないけどね。落ち着いた雰囲気のとこだね。
She just looked a bit tense when entering my room. It was her first time here.
生活はどう？新しい学校はやっぱりつまらないです。
Yeah, just regrowing my fingernails, that's all, same old shit.
一応通ってはいますけど、気分が乗らないときはサボらせてもらってます。全寮制だとなかなかそうはいかないですからね。セール中はやっぱり辛かったか。チェ、お姉も一度閉じ込められてみろってんです。ごめんごめん。ケーキ買ってきたからさ、食べよ。
Man opened the box. I saw 2 cheesecakes there. They have the same taste and food, so we don't have to fight if we get 2 of the same thing. Chatted with her over the cheesecake. Talked to her about school and whatnot.
必要な家具とかがあったら言ってね。融通できるかもしれないから。この部屋にもようやく馴染んできたとこだけど、近いうちに引き払うかもしれないから、家具はノーサンキューです。うちのお父さんが沖宮に住むつもりなら戻ってこいってうるさいんですよ。お父さんに会いたくないんだけど、かといって逆らうのも怖いしな。 お父さんもシオンがいなくなって寂しそうだったから、なんだかんだ言っても帰ってきたら喜ぶと思うよ。チェー、人事だと思って。
we head we head over to their dad's house. It's fucking Kiryu. That's a great image in my head. Fucking, it's fucking Kiryu. Come to think of it, this was the first time I talked to Sis since I was allowed to live as Shion Sonozaki. She didn't look like how she was at the Sonozaki house that day. The successor of the Sonozaki family and my twin sister are two different people. The demon lives inside the leader of the Sonozakis. Our bodies are exactly the same, except for the tattoo of a demon on her back. Mion's destiny as his successor was set in stone when she got that tattoo. It's pretty simple. The Mion from that night was different from the Mion before me. When I was forced to tear off my fingernails, I momentarily despised her. But if I were the next leader of the family, I'd have done the same.
シオン、爪は治った？もうすっかり傷口は塞がったからね。最近は目立つのがかえって嫌なんで、包帯みたいなのもしてないです。でもまだだいぶいびつでね、あまり人には見せられないかな。
I sneered at her, displaying my incomplete fingernails. Mion grew quiet and looked down.
謝らなくていいよ。ミオンだってあそこは仕方なかったんだからさ。次期当主の役割を演じただけ。恨んじゃいないから。ごめんね。オッケー。その謝罪で私は全部チャラにした。でももう一度謝ったらそれは取り消し。一生許さないよ。え、何それ。お姉は一度謝りモードに入るとなかなか抜けられない悪い癖がありますからね。私の方で区切らないとキリがないんです。本当に許してくれるの？サトシとのことも。
My heart ached when she mentioned his name. It felt just like the ache of a long wound.
シオンがサトシのことを好きなのは、もうあれだけ大勢の前で熱愛宣言しちゃいましたからね。なんだか今さら恥ずかしくもなんともないや。でもバッチャはあれで本当にけじめがついたと思ってるんだよ。シオンがちゃんと自分でけじめをつけてみせたから、それで全部終わりって。そうでなきゃ困ります。あれだけ痛い思いしたんですから。サトシ、どこに行ったんだろうね。
Oh, shit. I started choking when I heard her say that. I just said it to her myself. Said that I'd forgiven her completely. But that promise instantly evaporated. Just because of what she said, I felt like I turned into a completely different person. What did you just say, Mion? Did you say I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to? Who else could know other than you and your folks? What did you say? Where did he go? Felt my eyeballs reddening in anger. Felt as though they were about to pop. Choked on a burning sensation in my throat. Neon's expression rapidly changed. It looked like she noticed the devil's mask on my face. We were one and the same. We could understand each other's thoughts without voicing them. So showing our expressions was like unveiling everything in our hearts to the other.
ごめん。
Even though I told her not to apologize anymore, Mion apologized. I felt like strangling her. I was going to make her confess where she hid Satoshi-kun. She told me she threw him into the Onikafuji swamp. I'd string her to death right then and there.
サトシのことは本当に知らないの。
That's a lie.
本当。バッチャだって何も知らない。本当なの。嘘だ嘘だ嘘だ。 じゃあ本当にお社様のたたりで鬼隠しにあったとでも言うつもりなのか。たたりなんてあるもんか、たたりなんてあるもんか。
Words kept coming out of my mouth like I was chanting a spell. I wasn't speaking by my own will anymore. It was the demon who was controlling me. The demon that had been sweeping deep inside me woke up and was speaking through my mouth. My hands, the demon's hands, grabbed Mion by the neck.
お前たちがサトシ君を鬼隠しにしたんだ。お前たちその先本家が、お前たちが返して、私のサトシ君を返して、返して。
My hand slowly but surely squeezed Mion's neck. Mion put her hands onto mine and looked at her fingers. 3 of the fingernails on her left hand looked as ugly as mine.
ミオ、
What?
これはどうしたの？
Tears rolled down her cheeks. She didn't have to answer. She had the same scars as I did. She atoned as well. The way those wounds were healing looked the same as mine. So did she get these wounds around the same time as I did?
シオンだけが爪を剥がされるなんてかわいそすぎるんだもん。
Mion started sobbing. I stood there, petrified, still wringing Mion's neck.
シオンがね、サトシのことを好きだって分かって、私シオンとサトシに幸せになってほしかったんだよ。だってシオンばっかりいつもかわいそうで、私たちは同じ双子なのに、なんでシオンばっかりいつも差別され。
It didn't come as a surprise to me that Mion might have also loved Satoshi-kun as I did. We've always liked the same stuff, and even the same people. She was stupid enough to feel obligated towards someone like me.
私ね、バチャにね、怒鳴って言ったんだよ。シオンとサトシをそっとしてあげてほしいって。そしたらけじめをつけたら見逃そうという話になって、だからね、ちゃんとシオンが頑張ったから、もうね、二人は普通に過ごしてもよかったんだよ。なのにサトシいなくなっちゃった。こんなのひどいよね。
Mion isn't smart enough to shed crocodile tears. Those tears were real. Her tears dissolved my demon's anger like how the sun melts ice.
信じて、シオン。本当にサトシがどうしていなくなってしまったのかわからないの。園崎家とかバッチャとか、本当にそういうのは何も関わってないの。バッチャはシオンのけじめで全てを許した。だからサトシに何かするなんて絶対にないの。ミオ、ごめん。苦しかった。
I took my hands off her neck and held her instead.
苦しくなんかないよ。シオンはもっともっと苦しかったんだよね。
I shouted at the demon in my mind. I believed in Mion. I'd been convinced it was the Sonozaki family that made Satoshi-kun disappear. But Mion denied it, while shedding tears. Between her and me, her tears are more convincing than any words. So I believe in her. It absolutely wasn't the Sonozaki family that made him disappear. So, do you really think that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of Oshiro-sama's curse? I don't believe in curses, and Mion didn't do it. If it wasn't the curse or the Sonozaki family, who demoned him away? I don't know. I just know it's not Mion. It's not the Sonozaki family because Mion says so. That's stupid, Shion. Are you going to ignore Satoshi-kun's voice? I know. You don't have to remind me, demon. I can hear his voice. I know he's mumbling with an ambivalent expression, like he always used to do, even though he knows help won't come. I'll help him no matter what. I'll save him if he's alive. I'll avenge him if he's dead. But Mion didn't do it. You just want to take it out on somebody. It doesn't matter who. But I'm Shion, not a demon. You're only a part of me. Don't try to get control. Fuck off. Don't ever show up again. The demon faded away. My body went limp, and I fell to the floor while holding Mion.
シオン、大丈夫？もう大丈夫だよ、ミオン。私たちはどうしてミオンとシオンなんだろうね。どうして同じ一人であってはいけないんだろうね。やめなよ。私たちはもう何度もそれを自問してきたよ。でも答えなんか出ない。現実に私とあなたはミオンとシオン。それが現実。私ね、自分がミオンでもシオンでもどっちでもいいんだよ。私たちは私たち、公平な関係でいたいのに。仕方がないよ。ミオンの背中には鬼が宿ってる。闘志を継ぐ定めが宿ってる。それは仕方がない。私、嫌だ。鬼なんかいらない。鬼なんかいらない。私は鬼じゃない。鬼じゃない。同じ人間なのがいい。
Mion is a demon, and Shion is a human. Even though we're twins, there's a difference between us. It wasn't possible for humans to live with demons after all. It should be possible, because they did it before. That's the legend of Himizawa. Humans and demons lived in harmony together, as Oshiro-sama watched over them. Mion, Shion, Satoshi-kun, demons, humans. Oshiro-sama's curse, a series of mysterious deaths, Satoshi-kun's disappearance. We fell asleep while holding each other, while holding everything. Holy shit. Wow. What a... That's only half of the chapter. We still got a sec. Oh, never mind. Okay. Perfect. Because I was about to end it. But yeah. Wow. I mean, they're twins. Maybe they both have demons, you know. Or maybe it was really Shion that was supposed to be the demon, the true successor of the Sonozaki family. I don't know, but damn, is this chapter is really good, man. It's really fucking good. But anyway, if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something, put .coms below. Want to check out the Discord server I hang out in, or my Twitter, check description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!